Hi, welcome to the lesson for the left hand technique. So today's lesson is going to be the left hand chords off and on, and basically it's just allowing the left hand, the chords to come on as you strum. So let me just show you what I mean. Strum, chords come on. Okay, now you can do this with any type of chord. So let's say if I do a G chord, a regular G chord, so that would be a G chord. Okay, but the emphasis, and you can play with any chord you want, just I think the chord has to cover a good portion of the strings that's coming out. For instance, like a G, a D, no, let's see, an F. Now the one I wanted to really emphasize on was the G7, C7, and D7, because it's coming up in a lesson for the blues strum, and I'm actually using that technique for that particular blues strum technique. So I wanted to show you what I'm doing with my left hand technique so you could do it with that blues lesson for this blues strumming. So what I'm basically doing is I'm strumming and I'm bringing down the chord, okay? And it's happening in a reasonably fast succession, or in other words, it's happening immediately. So let me tell you what I'm doing. I'm doing a G7. As you can see, I'm not pressing on the chords yet. I'm gonna strum first and then bring down the G7. But it happens almost simultaneously, but it doesn't happen at the same time. So it's, in other words, it's a strum, chord down, strum, chord down, strum, chord down. Okay, and it happens in a fast succession. So in other words, strum, chord down. Okay, so it doesn't happen like together because it's not going to sound right. It's strum, chord down, strum, chord down. When I say chord down, I mean coming down on the fretboard. Okay, almost like a hammer-on. Okay, so that's what I'm doing, and I'm just going to start this off by teaching you the idea. Then I'll show you in more detail what I'm really doing. C7 basically, once again, strumming, and then the finger comes out. Strum, come down. And the D7, I guess you could do the you could strum and then come down, but what I find is easier is that because it's a bar chord, just hold on the second fret, all the strings, and just come down with your second finger. It'd be just easier. Okay, so once again it's G7, C7, G7, and D7, and those are the chords for this exercise. If you don't know those chords, you need to look on your chord chart and make sure that you can play. Okay, so the strum goes. So you notice that I'm strum, my downward strum, and then right after that, the chords come on. So I guess on my up strum, I'm actually not on the chord, so it sounds like this. Okay, so it's, and then come up, and come up, and then when it sounds together, C7, D7, G7. Once again, it's downward strum, come on, lift off, come up. Downward strum, come on, lift off, come up. Okay, and it's the same idea for the C7. And then the D7, basically I'm holding my first finger down on all the second fret, all the strings, and just using my second finger to come down. So in other words, this bar chord never leaves it. It's just holding it down. And that's the technique that I'm actually using for the blues strum. So that when you hear it, it just gives it more of a bluesy sound. Now you may have to try this technique a little bit slower. If it's kind of easy for you, well, then naturally you could probably play it a little bit faster, and it'll sound like a faster blues shuffle. Once again, this is the technique I'm using, the left-hand technique for the blues lesson, blues strum. That's in the strumming section of the course. So when you hear that particular lesson or that technique that's being done, this is how I'm doing it. Okay, with that being said, when you're ready to move on, we'll see you at the next lesson.